Alright, so during my last video on the VOR receiver testing, I discovered a little bug in the Teledyne LeCroy WaveStation, and I hope that they'll be able to fix it with my help. So, let's see, what do we have here? You're seeing a sinusoidal carrier at a 100 megahertz. Actually, you're seeing two of them, and they are perfectly in phase. Now, let me up this phase setting here. Now we're having 10 degrees, and now we have a 91 degrees. Let's lower that to 90. And we're seeing here all this is correct. We're having 90 degrees difference, just like we'd expected. Now, if I enable modulation, and what I have set here is a AM a tone of 1 kilohertz with a modulation depth of 0 hertz. So for once, my amplitude shouldn't drop. It shouldn't drop one bit. The amplitude modulation depth is 0%, so nothing should happen. But that aside, now watch what happens if I change the phase. Correct. Absolutely nothing. But that's not all. Right now I have those carriers set back to 0 degrees difference. Now let's enable modulation and change our phase to I don't know, let's say 90 degrees. If I disable the modulation now, whoops, let's go back to 90. If I disable the modulation now, that is 90 degrees. You see that jump there? I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden it's assuming that 0 is that setting that I had previously set, which was 90 degrees. And I'll prove that there's no phase setting in the other channel. See, if I swap between the channels, it's 0 degrees. It's really weird. I don't know why it does that, but I'm sure Teledyne LeCroy will be able to figure it out. Fixing a bug like this shouldn't take long. It's probably just a software bug. And while we're talking about bugs, let me show off another bug in this HDO. Let's go into spectrum view. I have it set up so it's centered at 100 megahertz. And watch the speed. Just spend a second and watch the update speed. It's very fast, especially considering the resolution bandwidth of 200 Hz. This is pretty darn quick. So let's change the mode to average. It'll slow down a lot. And that is even with one average. Now okay, we can say, there's some advanced math happening, even though we're just selecting one average. It's doing a special thing. Now watch what happens if I go back to normal. Exactly. It's completely locked up and takes forever now. And you can reset this by switching the spectrum off and switching it back on. And there you go. We have our fast update rate again. So I guess if you switch in one of those different modes, it also works if you go to max hold and back to normal. The loop doesn't exit, or the function doesn't exit correctly. It doesn't clear up some of its mass it leaves behind. Okay, very simple thing, should be very easy to fix. And while LeCroy is having to release a new firmware update for this anyway to fix this bug, I really deeply wish that they will also fix what I'm considering it a bug. They're considering a feature. Whatever, it certainly is a feature, but it's a feature, it should be mandatory. You see this default setup button up here. If I hit it, I'm getting absolutely no confirmation screen, nothing. It just it completely reverses the default setup, which I know I'm telling it to do, but this button is right next to the print button, and more than once it has happened that I'm printing the default setup button accidentally, and all of a sudden the setup that I've been screwing around with for quite some time is gone. Interestingly, if you hit the auto setup button, you're getting a confirm dialog. You can confirm or cancel. But no, after hours of setting up your scope, you want to print and you hit the default setup and everything's down the drain. So please, LeCroy, fix this.